Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit now about bends, and that's when we're bending a string and changing a note from where it initially was. A cool place to learn on if you're bending, it's best to have it with an electric guitar. An acoustic guitar is very difficult to do. You can do it. The acoustic guitar notes that are okay to bend are usually, if it's a steel string, nylon string, it's pretty much a no-go. But if it's a steel string guitar, the bottom two strings are okay. If you're doing bends though and you're practicing them on electric guitar, I like to start people bending on using the G string, which is the third string, because it's nice and thin, nice and light, and there's lots of places we can take that. It's usually quite easy to do. The easiest place to bend, of course, is in the middle of the guitar, probably around the 9th fret. So if we start there to begin with, at the 9th fret on the third string, what we're going to do is we're going to bend the 9th fret and we're going to make it sound like an 11. Bend it up to an 11. The way we do that is I'm going to use my third finger on the 9th fret, and then my second finger, and sometimes my first finger as well, when you're learning this, tucked in against each other so that they are all helping each other out, because it's very difficult to bend a note with one finger, and I still can't do it today that well at all. It's a team effort, and it's very easy to do when it's a team effort, so much stronger. And my thumb is going to be on top of the guitar, so I'm bending towards my thumb. The way that happens is I start down low, I pick the note, and I'm pushing against the neck of the guitar and sliding it up the neck. So, take a few goes. If you've never had a go at that before, you might find the note sort of dies and does that sort of thing, because maybe your fingers are sliding off the strings a little bit, or they're a little bit moist, or that are sore, or they may be a little bit soft still from learning. So you'll find that gets stronger as you go. And when you first bend, it should feel like the nail is being ripped off the edge of your finger. It should actually feel like, oh my God, this can't be right. It's kind of a weird feeling. But actually persevere, because you'll find that it gets quite strong. It's amazing what your hand can do. So that's a bend. Different variations on that. You can bend the note up and then bring it back down again. Just be careful of the other strings when you do that. That sort of thing. And you'll notice it's my whole hand. If you could see behind there, my whole hand's actually doing this with the guitar. A lot of times you lift your eyebrows when you do that as well. It actually helps a lot. Maybe practice your rock face at that point as well. Or you could do the opposite. You could start the bend already and pick it down. Now, if you're pinging a lot of strings, you get this sort of thing going on. See, I intentionally did that, but you can sort of hear the other string coming down as it's sort of getting pulled and sort of ends up flicking it and making it ring. Especially with distortion on, you get a lot of that. And a way to cover that is you bend with your with your second and third finger, and your first finger covers some strings. And all it's doing is just sitting on top of the strings. It's not pushing down. It's not helping with the bend at all. The bend is totally done with this part of the hand, and it's just sort of relaxed and lying on the string. Just holding back the other strings. Hey, let's take it easy here. And it's the same with any note that you bend. Now, that's a few basics of bending. There's all sorts of variations on bending we can get into, but I'll just go over a few cool places to use that with that pentatonic scale that you might have had a go at. Let's say we're in the B minor position here, using that first pentatonic scale shape. And the cool notes that I like to bend out of this is that note there, that note there, and that note there. They're really cool to bend. So when you're soloing, however you're soloing. Now you notice my little finger normally plays that note, but when I'm bending, I tend to put my third finger over there to play that note because it's stronger to bend. So I just have a feeling that I'm going to bend it, and that's where I put my third finger on there to play that note. The same with the bottom string. Sounds quite cool, the different things you can do with the bend there. So a couple of cool things. Those notes there, there, and there sound really good. You can try bending the other notes. There's no holding fast rules for these. Just bend whatever note you feel comfortable with. Some are going to sound maybe not so pleasant to the ear. And it's totally up to you. There's no set rules on how to do this, but just to get you started with some things that do sound cool and give you confidence, start with those 3 notes there, and you should be away laughing. And the same thing applies the higher you go up. Sounds really cool when you get a good bend going on up there. So have some fun with those. There's a few more tips and tricks we can use as well, but just for now, I think that's the best thing just to get covered is just a basic bends and where they are. In major and minor, you can use that. So have some fun with that.